Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How many nights have you stayed awake replaying the same thoughts over and over like a broken record you just can't turn off? You've been there, haven't you? We all have. But for some, it's not just a moment, it's a way of life. Overthinking. It's a silent tormentor, a storm that never seems to pass. And why do overthinkers suffer so much? Because they live in a world that exists only in their minds, a world full of what ifs, should haves, and could be's. You see, overthinking robs you. It takes your time, your energy, and your peace. It convinces you to doubt your choices, second guess your instincts, and question your worth. But let me tell you something, most of the things you're obsessing over will never happen. And the ones that do, worrying won't change them. Overthinkers suffer because they are trapped in a loop of fear and indecision. They mistake overthinking for preparation, but in reality, it's hesitation. It's a fear of failure disguised as a need for perfection. Overthinking is often regarded as a natural process of trying to make sense of life, but in reality, it can act as a prison that traps individuals in cycles of fear and indecision. When you think about it, overthinking isn't a productive activity. It doesn't solve problems or create solutions. Instead, it magnifies challenges, inflates uncertainties, and builds imaginary obstacles. It creates a false sense of control, as though thinking harder and longer will somehow eliminate risks or guarantee success. But the truth is, no amount of overthinking can change what hasn't happened or ensure what will. The prison of overthinking is built with walls of fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making the wrong choice. These fears grow louder the more you dwell on them. What starts as a simple consideration of possibility spirals into endless what ifs. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if people judge me? These questions pile up, paralyzing the thinker. Instead of finding clarity, overthinkers find themselves stuck, unable to move forward because they're trying to account for every possible outcome. Indecision becomes the hallmark of this mental trap. The fear of making the wrong choice often leads to making no choice at all. Overthinkers convince themselves that delaying action is safer, that waiting for more information or better circumstances will lead to the perfect moment. But here's the irony, there's no such thing as the perfect moment. Life is unpredictable, and conditions are rarely ideal. Overthinking keeps you stuck in preparation mode, always planning but never executing. It's like trying to cross a river but refusing to step into the water until the current stops completely, a moment that will never come. Another cruel aspect of overthinking is how it feeds on itself. The more you think, the more doubts you create. A single thought can snowball into a web of insecurities, turning small decisions into monumental dilemmas. Overthinkers often replay past mistakes in their minds, using them as evidence that future decisions will go wrong too. They also rehearse failures that haven't happened, creating a mental narrative of defeat before even taking a step. This self-perpetuating cycle ensures that they remain locked in a state of fear and hesitation. Overthinking also robs people of time and energy. Hours spent obsessing over the perfect choice are hours that could have been used to take action, learn, and grow. Energy wasted on imagined scenarios leaves little room for creativity, problem solving, or even enjoying the present moment. Overthinkers often feel mentally drained, not because they've been productive, but because they've been battling their own thoughts. This mental fatigue can lead to frustration, stress, and even burnout, making it even harder to break free from the cycle. One of the most significant problems with overthinking is that it blinds people to the power of action. In truth, most fears and doubts shrink when confronted with action. Taking a step forward, no matter how small, has a way of clarifying situations and building momentum. But overthinkers rarely give themselves the chance to experience this. They remain caught in the belief that thinking is safer than doing, not realizing that inaction is the true risk. Overthinking often masquerades as careful planning or deep analysis, which can make it hard to recognize as a problem. It feels like you're being responsible, like you're weighing all the options to make the best possible decision. But there's a critical difference between thoughtful consideration and endless rumination. Thoughtful consideration leads to a decision. Overthinking leads to paralysis. The prison becomes more secure because overthinkers convince themselves that their behavior is necessary, even virtuous. Another layer to this prison is perfectionism. Overthinkers often set unrealistically high standards for themselves, believing that every decision must be flawless and every action must lead to guaranteed success. This perfectionism adds pressure, making it even harder to take action. They fear being judged for mistakes, so they try to avoid mistakes altogether. But the truth is, no one succeeds without failing, and no path is without its stumbles. The pursuit of perfection only deepens the cycle of overthinking and inaction. Fear of the unknown also plays a significant role in the trap of overthinking. The human mind craves certainty, but life offers very little of it. Overthinkers struggle to embrace this uncertainty, trying instead to predict every possible outcome before making a move. This need for control is exhausting because it's unattainable. No matter how much you think or plan, the future will always hold surprises. Overthinkers suffer because they resist this reality, fighting a battle they can never win. While overthinking may feel like a personal struggle, it's worth noting that it's also influenced by external factors. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with information, options, and opinions. Social media, for example, can amplify overthinking by creating unrealistic comparisons and endless feedback loops. The pressure to always get it right is heightened by the fear of public judgment. This external noise feeds the internal doubts of overthinkers, making it even harder to escape the mental trap. Ultimately, overthinking thrives on hesitation and avoidance. It's a cycle fueled by fear, sustained by indecision, and reinforced by a false belief in its usefulness. While the mind of an overthinker may feel like a chaotic storm, the reality is that they hold the power to quiet it through action. Action is what breaks the cycle, dissolves the doubts, and unlocks the door to freedom. Life doesn't reward those who hesitate, analyze endlessly, or wait for the stars to align. It rewards those who are bold enough to take action, even when the outcome is uncertain. Courage and movement, these are the engines of progress. Yet so many people fall into the trap of overthinking, believing that if they just think a little longer or plan a little more, they can eliminate all risks. What they fail to realize is that action, not thought, is the force that creates change and moves them closer to their goals. When you think about the moments that shape a life, they're rarely the ones where everything was calculated to perfection. They're the moments of courage, of stepping into the unknown, of making decisions even when all the answers weren't clear. Life is inherently uncertain, and trying to think your way to certainty is like trying to control the wind. It's impossible. Those who succeed understand this. They don't let the fear of the unknown stop them from moving forward. Hesitation is often rooted in the fear of failure, but failure is not the enemy. In fact, failure is one of life's greatest teachers. Every misstep, every stumble, every so-called mistake holds a lesson. It's through failure that people learn resilience, adaptability, and strength. Waiting for the perfect plan to guarantee success means waiting forever because there is no such plan. Life rewards those who are willing to learn by doing, by trying, by failing, and by trying again. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward, despite it. People often wait for the fear to disappear before they act, but fear doesn't go away, it's part of being human. What changes is your ability to move with it, to act even when your heart is racing and your mind is full of doubts. Every time you choose action over fear, you build confidence. Confidence isn't something you think your way into, it's something you earn through experience. Movement is the antidote to doubt. When you're stuck in your head, second-guessing every choice, the solution isn't more thinking, it's doing. Taking a single step forward, no matter how small, creates momentum. That momentum clears the fog of uncertainty, providing clarity that overthinking never will. Action creates feedback, and feedback provides answers. You won't know if something works until you try it. You can't steer a parked car. Movement is what allows you to adjust, learn, and grow. People often believe that waiting for the perfect moment will protect them from failure, but what they don't see is that inaction carries its own risks. Opportunities don't wait forever. Time doesn't pause for you to feel ready. When you hesitate, you risk losing not just chances, but also the lessons and growth that come from taking those chances. The cost of inaction is often far greater than the cost of action. Courage and movement are also contagious. When you take bold steps, it inspires others to do the same. You create a ripple effect, showing those around you that fear doesn't have to hold them back either. This doesn't mean being reckless, it means being willing to act in the face of uncertainty, to trust yourself enough to try. People admire and follow those who take initiative, who dare to lead even when the path isn't clear. The truth is, life is messy. It doesn't follow a straight line, and it doesn't come with guarantees. Waiting for perfect conditions is a way of avoiding discomfort, but discomfort is where growth happens. It's where you stretch beyond your limits, discover your strength, and prove to yourself what you're capable of. Those who wait for certainty miss out on the beauty and growth that come from stepping into the unknown. Taking action doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable, but they're also invaluable. They teach you more than success ever could. They show you what doesn't work, which brings you closer to understanding what does. Action allows you to gather real-world data, to learn from experience rather than speculation. The lessons you gain from doing far outweigh the fears that come with inaction. Success is built on a foundation of small, imperfect actions. People often look at others who have achieved greatness and assume they had it all figured out from the start. But if you dig deeper, you'll find that their journey was filled with trial and error, with risks taken and lessons learned. They didn't wait for certainty, they created it through movement, through effort, through persistence. Movement doesn't just create external progress, it transforms you internally. With every action, you're proving to yourself that you're capable, that you're strong enough to face challenges and navigate uncertainty. This internal shift is what builds the resilience and self-belief needed to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. Life is dynamic, constantly changing. To stand still, waiting for the perfect moment, is to fall behind. Action allows you to keep pace with life, to adapt to its changes, and to create your own opportunities. It's through movement that you discover what's possible, that you turn dreams into reality.